Hello, welcome to our channel for probability and statistics. In this video, we will talk about test for homogeneity using chi-square test. So what is test for homogeneity? Actually, test for homogeneity is a special case of the so-called test for independence. And we know test for independence is to test the independence between two categorical variables, and we have a table called contingency table represents the counts for values between two of these variables for the rows and columns. And test for homogeneity, the difference between test for homogeneity and a test for independence is that in test for homogeneity, either the row or columns marginal counts are predetermined. So we show an example. So here we decided in advance to select 200 Democrats, 150 Republicans, and 150 independents from the voters of the state of North Carolina and record whether they are for proposed abortion law, against it, or undecided. So this table, like a contingency table for these two variables, political affiliation and abortion law, three values. But here you can see these column numbers are predetermined for the marginal counts. So in the independent test, the rows and the columns number marginals are not predetermined. But here, the columns marginals are predetermined and the rows marginals not predetermined. They are random. So here we will test the hypothesis, or say the null hypothesis at 0, such the population proportions within each row are the same. Such is, we test the hypothesis that the proportions of Democrats, Republicans, and Independents favoring the abortion law are the same, and the proportions of each political affiliation against the law also the same, and the proportions of each political affiliation they are undecided are also the same. So this is called homogeneity. So next, like independent test, we will also find expected frequencies in the table. So this is observed frequency, and in the parentheses they are expected frequency. So if the homogeneity or the proportions is correct, is the same for each political affiliation with regard to each different attitudes towards abortion law, then we can find expected frequencies by multiplying the marginals divided by the total counts. So we have this table. They can use the chi-square test. So this is the calculation of the sample chi-square, which is the summation of the square of the difference between observed and expected values for each count divided by expected value. Then this chi-square value will be compared with the critical value in the chi-square test. So if this sample statistic larger than the critical value, usually we set at 0.05 for the alpha level, which means this critical value in the chi-square distribution will leave 0.05 area on the right. So it's quite a small area. So if this test statistic larger than this critical value, so we will get a smaller p-value. Then we will reject the null hypothesis, or say the test of the homogeneity is significant at 0.05 alpha level. So in this example, we get sample chi-square test statistic 1.53. We just sum all these counts and take square for the difference between these two and divided by expected value. And from the chi-square distribution table, we can get chi-square critical value 0.05 for the 4 degrees of freedom is about 9.488. You can see the sample critical value, sample statistic is much less than the chi-square test critical value here. So in this example, we do not reject H0. Or say there is insufficient evidence to conclude that the proportions of Democrats, Republicans, and Independents differ for each stated opinion. Thanks for watching.